You're all dark and twisty inside. Dark and twisty.
The time is 1:36 p.m. We are on the record. This is an additional videotape deposition in the matter of Mitchell K. Wright et al. Versus Andrew Goldman, also known as Drew Grant et al. And will be the deposition of Andrew Goldman, also known as Drew Grant. Counsel present for previous deposition in this matter on this date at this location are again present for this deposition. Our court reporter's name is Jenny Burks, videotaping the deposition of Steve Berletta. Also in attendance, in addition to those at the previous deposition on this date, is Mitchell Wright. And would our court reporter please swear in with us?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony given this call is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Counsel.
State your name for the record, please.
Drew Douglas Grant.
You're going to have to speak up. I can't hear you, and I want to make sure our court reporter can hear you. Drew Douglas Grant.
Yes, sir.
When and where did you come up with that name?
It was after my release.
All right. What was your name prior to your release from incarceration?
Andrew Golden.
When did you get your name changed?
I don't remember the exact date.
Can you give me an approximate date?
The summer of 2007
Where were you living when you got your name changed?
in Missouri,
Where?
in Cape Girardeau.
Street address?
111 Weeping Willow.
Living with your sister?
Yes, sir.
And that was your residence?
Yes, sir.
Did you report to the court that that you were a resident of Missouri in the summer of '07 so that you could get your name changed?
Yes, sir.
Is that the reason you moved to Missouri, so you could get your name changed and raise less likelihood of any awareness?
Yes, sir.
And did you also apply for a Missouri driver's license?
Yes, sir.
And did you report your address as a Missouri address?
Yes, sir.
Do you have your driver's license with you?
My current driver's license?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
May I see it, please?
I think there was a copy of it somewhere.
I want to see your original, and if this is a copy, then that's fine, but I want to see your original. It shows this is issued on September the 8th of 2008, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And we'll mark that as Exhibit 19, a photocopy of it. Do you have any other driver's licenses in your possession?
No, sir.
What happened to the Missouri driver's license?
When you get an Arkansas driver's license, they keep the other.
All right. And so when did you get the Missouri driver's license?
I don't remember the exact date.
Approximately. We can play this game. If I ask you a date and you don't know the exact date, just give me the best approximation you know.
It would have been the summer of 2007.
All right. And when did you leave Cape Girardeau?
About the fall.
Of 2007?
Yes, sir.
Where did you go to from there?
To my mother and father's house
Where is it?
in Ravenden.
And you knew that I, on behalf of the family, were trying to serve you with process and sent at least deputy sheriffs to your parents' home on at least 2 occasions. You were aware of that, weren't you?
No, sir.
Your mom never told you that deputy sheriff showed up looking for you?
Not that I can recall.
That's something y'all wouldn't discuss?
I don't remember if she ever said anything about it.
How'd you come up with the name Grant? Where'd that name come from?
That was my grandmother's maiden name.
Douglas?
That was my middle name.
Okay. And you just shortened Andrew to Drew?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your Arkansas driver's license indicates a date of birth of 5/25/86, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You understand this deposition is taken under oath and you've been sworn?
Yes,
You
sir.
did swear the witness, did you not? Okay. And you understand this deposition is subject to penalty of perjury?
Yes, sir.
And that if you do false swearing, you could be criminally prosecuted for it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If at any time I ask you a question you don't understand it, I expect you to let me know so that I can rephrase the question. Is that agreeable?
Yes, sir.
And if you answer a question, I'm going to assume you understand it. Is that agreeable?
Yes, sir.
And you've had the benefit of sitting here all morning listening to your mother testify, have you not?
Yes, sir.
So when I ask you questions, you already know what your mother had to say.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay. Have you ever used a name other than Andrew Golden or Drew Grant, whether legally, officially, or as an alias or a nickname or any other name?
No, sir.
Why did you change your name?
To start over.
Start over how? Why?
To start a new life.
Why?
That way it would cause less problems when I go to school and things. And
Anything else?
no, sir.
Didn't want anybody to know where you were, did you? Is it important to you that you hide out from your past?
No, sir.
You don't mind if the public knows of your whereabouts and who you are?
There would be some safety concerns.
What safety concerns from whom?
There were some death threats.
Yeah, well, that was back in 1998 by people living in Texas and New York or somewhere,
Yes, sir.
and nobody was ever prosecuted or even arrested for those, were they? They were just threats in a letter form, right?
Yes, sir.
And you never received any threats from any member of the families of the victims of the shooting at Westside, have you?
Other than Mr. Wright saying that on the stand that day, nothing.
Tell me what Mr. Wright said.
That he would be waiting on me when I was released.
And did he say what he'd be doing when he was waiting on you?
No, sir.
In fact, he's waiting on you here today, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Because he wants to hear your side of what happened.
Yes, sir.
You killed his wife. You participated in the killing of his wife, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And is that come as a surprise to you? He'd want to hear from you about what you had to say about that?
No, sir.
So that's not a threat. That's somebody who's wanting to know what you did and why you did it, right?
Yes, sir.
Why was his wife killed?
I don't know.
Who shot Shannon Wright?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. What gun were you using?
Him.
You recognize that when I ask you these questions, there is some forensic evidence of what guns were used, and we already have the deposition of Mitchell Johnson, which you've read, right?
Yes, sir.
And do you remember Mitchell Johnson saying which gun he used?
Yes, sir.
What gun did he say he used?
He used a 30-06.
And what other gun was used to kill people that day?
There was a M1 carbine.
An M1 carbine. Did you ever see Mitchell Johnson shoot the M1 carbine?
No, sir.
Was there anybody else shooting besides you and Mitchell Johnson?
No, sir.
So the only person that would have shot the M1 carbine would have been you, right?
Yes, sir.
So how many times did you shoot the M1 carbine?
I don't know.
How did you select your targets?
I didn't.
You didn't select them, they just fell down, you shot up in the air, the bullets flew out of the sky and landed on them, is that it?
No, sir. I never shot at anybody.
You never shot at anybody?
Not directly trying to pick someone out of the crowd or anything.
Mm-hmm. Did you read Mitchell Johnson's deposition about how him seeing a child's head get shot?
Yes, sir.
Who did he say he saw get shot in the head?
Natalie Brooks.
And you shot Natalie Brooks in the head, didn't you?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't remember it.
You don't remember shooting somebody in the head? Is that what you're telling us under your oath?
Yes, sir.
And you're willing to let a jury decide if that's true or not under penalty of perjury?
I don't remember it.
Well, have you had any hit trauma to your head since the time of the shooting?
Yes, sir. I was in a motorcycle wreck.
Uh-huh. And what kind of trauma did you have?
I landed on my head and I broke my collarbone.
Uh-huh. And do you remember where you were living at that time when you had the wreck?
Yes, sir.
Where were you living?
I was staying between a couple different residences.
You were what?
I was between a couple of different residences.
What were those two residences?
I was 832 Silver Springs Road at Evening Shade, and then 910 Heber Springs Road at Deshay.
Deshay?
Yes, sir.
What about Batesville?
That's Batesville, Deshay. It's
Spell Deshay.
DESHA.
All right. Is that part of Batesville?
It's right there on the outskirts of it.
Okay. Where were you employed when this motorcycle wreck happened?
I wasn't employed.
Were you in school?
Yes, sir.
Where were you in school?
At the University of Arkansas Community College
Where?
at Batesville.
And were you in school with classes in session at the general time frame when the wreck happened?
Yes, sir.
About when did the wreck happen?
It was May. May of some time. It was early May
What year?
of 2008.
And whose motorcycle were you riding?
It was. It's in my mother's name, but it's my father's and mine.
It's your father's and who?
Mine.
Who bought it for you?
My mother.
Did anybody ride it besides you?
Yes, sir. My father did.
Okay. And was anybody else involved in that accident?
No, sir.
How'd the accident happen?
I lost control of the vehicle.
And who was your insurance company?
I don't know.
Was it State Farm?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And did you go get medical treatment?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go?
White River Medical Center.
And tell me what treatment you got.
There was. They ended up doing surgery on my shoulder, and a plate was
Anything
put in.
else?
That was it.
And how did you do in school that semester?
Pretty good.
And how had your classes gone before the wreck?
Pretty good.
And where did you live when you were going to school?
At my mother and father's house, at Evening Shade, and at Deshay.
How did you, and when we say Deshay, it's the same thing as Batesville for all practical purposes.
Yes, sir.
How did you decide where you'd stay when?
It depended on the school schedule.
Well, explain it to me.
Well, the days before school, sometimes I would stay. That way I wouldn't have to get up as early to drive.
And when school, what days did you have classes?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So would you go up and stay in Batesville on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday so you wouldn't have to drive?
Just usually, it depends. It varied.
What was normal?
Monday night, Wednesday night, and then Thursday night or Friday night I would go home or I'd go to the farm.
All right, when you went to your mom and dad's house, was that the one in Ravendale?
Yes, sir.
We've already talked about it being close to the river.
Yes, sir.
And how did you describe that town in some of your email texting or emailing?
That it was small and there was nothing much.
What kind of profane words did you use to describe it? You know, don't you?
Yes, sir.
What'd you call the town?
BFE. BFE.
We're grown-ups. Tell us what words you used.
I said bumfuck.
And why'd you select that name for that town?
And first thing that popped in my head.
What about it made it such a bum town?
There's nothing there. There's a gas station and a restaurant.
Well, there's enough there to keep you going there, wasn't there?
Yes, sir.
And to the people that live there, that choose to live there, they apparently like it.
Yes, sir.
But since it doesn't meet your taste, it's a bum-F town, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. And tell me about this farm. Whose farm was it?
It's our pastor's, or at the time it was. It's his farm.
What's his name?
Pat Hovis.
Pat Hovis? What church does he pastor?
It's the Baptist church there in Ravenden.
What's the name of it?
First Baptist, I think.
You didn't go there very much, did you?
No, sir.
How often did you go, if at all?
I've never attended his church.
Okay. What church did you attend, if any?
The First Assembly,
First Assembly of what?
God,
Where?
at Imboden.
And how often did you go there?
I've been there twice in the past couple of weeks.
Twice in the past couple of weeks?
Yes, sir.
How about the last 2 years? How many times you been?
This is a recent thing. I haven't.
So you just recently, right before this deposition, went to church a couple of times?
Yes, sir.
And let me just bounce around a little bit and ask you some questions. Do you know the names of the children who were killed at the Westside shooting?
Yes, sir.
Who are they?
Paige Herring,
All right.
Brittany Varner,
All right.
Stephanie Johnson,
You're letting your voice drop. You got to speak up. Stephanie Johnson. Who else?
and Natalie Brooks.
Teacher killed?
Yes, sir.
Who?
Shannon Wright.
And did you know any of those 5 people before they were killed?
Yes, sir.
Which one of them did you know?
Paige Herring, Natalie Brooks, Brittany Varner.
How did you know them?
I had classes with them.
Had Paige Herring ever been rude or mean to you?
No, sir.
Had Brittany Varner ever been rude or mean to you?
No, sir.
Natalie Brooks ever been rude or mean to you?
No, sir.
How about Stephanie Johnson?
I didn't know her.
And what about Shannon Wright? Had she ever been mean or rude to you?
No, sir.
Had Shannon Wright ever been involved in a decision to place any disciplinary actions against you?
Not that I can remember.
And you had some disciplinary actions against you in 6th grade, did you not?
Not that I remember.
Did you ever go to in-school suspension?
No, sir.
Did you ever get in any trouble while you were in school in the 6th grade?
Not that I remember.
You remember your mom talking about guns at school?
Yes, sir.
You remember that incident?
I don't remember the incident personally, no.
Okay. When you were riding this motorcycle, you remember about how fast you were going when you lost control?
Around 40 or so.
Around 40 or so. Okay. What kind of helmet did you have on? What brand?
I don't remember the brand.
Okay. But you had on a helmet?
Yes, sir.
What happened to the helmet?
I'm not sure.
Do you still have it?
No, sir.
Still have a motorcycle?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
How much damage was done to the motorcycle? Ballpark. Totaled?
It was almost totaled.
What's your cell phone number?
870-844-0036.
You're dropping your voice again. Now, you have these 2 attorneys that are representing you now, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you paying either one of them? You yourself
Not me, no, sir.
or your parents?
I think so.
Okay. You've had other attorneys, have you not?
Yes, sir.
And who was the attorney from California?
I don't remember his name.
What about Val Price?
Yes, sir.
And did you discharge Val Price, or did his services end when the state juvenile proceedings ended?
I can't remember.
Okay. What about the federal public defender?
Lee Ellen Fowler.
Lee Ellen Fowler, yes. Tell me, when did her services for you end? After you got out of federal custody?
I think so. I don't.
Did you go to trial in the federal case?
Yes, sir.
Did you testify?
No, sir.
Did Mitchell Johnson testify?
I'm not sure. It was separate.
Oh, they were separate, okay. What about the juvenile proceeding in Craighead County? Did you go to trial?
Yes, sir.
Did you testify?
No, sir.
Did Mitchell Johnson testify?
I can't remember.
Okay. And when the shooting incident took place, you were involved in the shooting, were you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you've sat here and heard your mother tell the story that you gave her about how you got involved in that shooting, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And that's what you had told her.
Yes, sir.
You've read Mitchell Johnson's deposition, have you not?
Yes, sir.
One of you two are lying through your teeth, if not both of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about any other addresses you've had. We've got the Cape Girardeau address, we've got the Batesville address, we've got the farm in Evening Shade, and we've got the Raven Den address. Any other place you've lived or stayed except while or after you've been released?
No, sir.
Who lived with you at the Raven Den address?
My mother and father.
Who lived with you on the farm?
Generally by myself.
And other than when you weren't by yourself, who stayed overnight with you at the farm?
My mother and father.
Anybody else?
That would be it. Or my brother and sister did after I was released for a short time.
What about the Batesville address?
By myself.
Since you've been released, have you been dating any girls?
I have dated some girls, but not currently.
Since you've released, have you been back to Jonesboro?
Yes, sir.
How many occasions?
I went to see my grandmother a few times, and that's about it. I've been to the mall once or twice.
About how many times have you been back to Jonesboro?
I don't know.
Give me your best estimate.
Maybe 10 times.
Did you ever go by the Westside school and look at where this carnage took place?
No, sir.
Did you ever make any effort to contact any of the families and express your sorrow to them?
No, sir. I was told not to
By whom?
by my lawyers.
Which lawyers? These today?
No, sir.
Who?
Val Price and some of the others.
Of course, that's why you were facing criminal charges, right?
Yes, sir.
Once you got out of federal custody, there was nobody telling you not to contact them, were there?
No, sir.
Tell me why you didn't contact anybody and tell them you're sorry about what happened. Let me tell you the truth about what happened.
I didn't want to stir anything else up.
You think they didn't want to know what happened to their daughters and their wife?
Yes, sir.
You think they didn't want to know?
No, I think they wanted to know.
Well, why didn't you have enough human compassion just to call them and tell them, let me tell you what happened and why? If you're interested in knowing, if you don't want to talk to me, fine. Why didn't you at least make an effort?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you claim that you suffer from remorse as a result of this?
Yes, sir.
Remorse and grief?
Yes, sir.
Guilt?
Yes, sir.
Guilt, but not to the point to try to relieve the pain of those who were your victims?
I would have liked to contact
Who
them.
kept you from it?
I didn't want to stir anything else up.
Didn't want to stir anything up. In other words, you didn't want to give them any peace of mind by giving them information that would help them understand what happened to their loved ones? Is that it?
No, sir.
Or did you just not want them to know where you were or anything about you? So you could have your privacy and go on with your life? Which one was it? You were more concerned with your privacy and going on with your life than theirs, weren't you?
No, sir.
Then why didn't you call them? Why didn't you write them?
I don't know.
Lived anywhere else you haven't told me about since your release?
No, sir.
How long were you in Memphis?
For the last year or so of my federal stay.
How long were you in South Dakota? What age were you when you went up there about?
I think I was 14 or 15.
And you were at Alexander from the time you left Craighead County until you went to South Dakota, correct?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about Craighead County. When you were in Craighead County, did you at any time tell the police what happened or anybody from law enforcement?
No, sir.
Why not?
I was scared,
Scared what?
and I couldn't talk. I don't know.
Scared of whom or scared of what?
I was just scared.
What do you think could happen to you worse than what happened to the people you shot, was there?
No, sir.
Again, you put yourself first? Even after the horrendous shooting, you were thinking of yourself more than the victims and their families, weren't you?
I was just scared.
Scared of what?
Everything that had happened, I didn't know what else was going to happen. I just didn't know.
I can't hear you.
I said I didn't know.
And did your parents tell you to keep your mouth shut and not talk about it?
No, sir. My lawyers did.
But your parents didn't? No?
No, sir.
Okay. What about Mitchell Johnson? How long had you known Mitchell Johnson before the shooting?
I don't remember.
Well, had you just met him the day of the shooting?
No, sir.
Had you been in 6th grade with him and riding the bus with him?
Yes, sir.
Did you know him when you were in 5th grade?
I think so.
Did you ever spend any time with Mitchell Johnson at school on the playground or during breaks from classes in 6th grade?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir. Not that I remember.
And when you rode on the bus, did you and he ride side by side on the bus?
Yes, sir.
Were there normally 2 people for each side of the bus?
Yes, sir.
And were you assigned the seating next to Mitchell Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever ask to have your seating assignment changed?
Not that I remember.
Who was your bus driver?
I can't remember.
Who was your principal?
Miss Kirkner, I think.
Who was your 6th grade teacher?
They changed classes.
All right. Who did you have in 6th grade? Who were some of the teachers you had?
Miss Wright. Miss Thedford.
Anybody else?
Those are the only two I can remember.
All right. And when you were in 6th grade, had you ever gone hunting before then?
Yes, sir.
What kind of hunting had you done before 6th grade?
Squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting, duck hunting.
Deer?
I can't remember ever going.
What kinds of guns had you shot, live guns, live ammunition, before the shooting at Westside? Pistols and rifles?
Yes, sir.
What kind of pistols? Automatics, revolvers, derringers, all of them?
Yes, sir.
Who taught you to shoot?
think my grandfather did.
Did your dad also help teach you to shoot, or was it mainly your grandfather?
It was probably both of them.
When did you first start shooting a gun?
I don't
4 years old? When you were a little bitty, wasn't it?
When I was young, yes.
You've been shooting guns with live ammo as long as you can remember back to your early childhood. Isn't that true?
I remember starting with a BB gun, and that was when I was young.
Okay. And you also shot rifles, did you not?
Yes, sir.
And you shot rifles with scopes and with open sights, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Who taught you how to take aim with an open sight rifle? Grandfather?
It may have been.
Who taught you how to aim with a scope? Grandfather?
It may have been.
Well, who else would it have been if it wasn't your grandfather?
Either him or my father.
Oh, either your grandfather or your father? And you first started out shooting target practice, did you not?
Yes, sir.
Where would you go to target practice?
At my grandfather's house.
And when you say at your grandfather's house, that's the house close to Westside?
Yes, sir.
Was there a wooded area or a gravel pit or something like that y'all would shoot in? Where would you shoot?
There was a berm or a washed out spot.
Kind of like a gully or something?
Yes, sir.
All right. And would you put up targets and shoot at them?
Yes, sir.
What kind of targets did you use?
And paper targets and cans and stuff like that.
And paper targets, some of them were like silhouettes of a human being like you see on gun shows and like you see at gun stores and you see on TV.
Yes, sir.
And you would shoot at those from different distances with different weapons, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did you go with your father or grandfather to any shooting competitions?
I went with my father once or twice.
And do you remember about how old you were when you went to those? What grade you were in?
I must have been 9 or 10.
Huh?
9 or 10, I think.
Okay. And did you ever shoot in any of those competitions?
Yes, sir.
How many competitions did you shoot in?
I don't remember.
About. Best estimate.
Mm, 10 or so, I guess.
Okay. And you won some prizes in some of those competitions, didn't you?
Not that I remember.
Didn't you win one of them?
Not that I remember.
Okay. You heard me ask about your mother that your grandfather made the statement, I think the same day or the next day of the shooting, that you were an expert marksman. Do you remember seeing that?
No, sir, I don't remember seeing it or hearing it.
Okay. Your grandfather did consider you an excellent shot, did he not?
Yes, sir.
And you were an excellent shot, weren't you?
I don't know.
Well, you knew you were able to hit the target you aimed at, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
And you were good at it, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
And you were good at it with both pistols and long guns, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
You were good at it with both open sights and telescopic sights, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
And you could hit 10 cans from a considerable distance with your telescopic sight, could you?
Yes, sir.
And you could hit 10 cans from a considerable distance with an open sight rifle, couldn't you?
Yes, sir.
What's the term? Have you ever heard the term draw a fine bead? Do you know what that term means?
No, sir.
Okay. Take dead aim. Do you know what that term means? Where you take real good aim?
Yes, sir.
And you knew how to do that, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And with the pistol, when you shot pistols at target practice, did you hold the pistol with one hand or both hands usually? Or both ways?
Both, I guess.
Okay. Did you ever shoot a shotgun?
Yes, sir.
And did you ever shoot at things thrown up in the air with a shotgun?
I never shot skeet or anything like that.
I never shot skeet. Okay. Did you ever shoot at any birds that they were flying?
I duck hunted, yes.
Okay. And did you ever kill any ducks while duck hunting?
I may have killed one. I don't remember.
What about quail hunting? Did you ever go quail hunting?
No, sir.
When you went squirrel hunting, did you use a shotgun or a rifle?
A shotgun.
And were you able to kill squirrels?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever go hunting with a rifle?
Yes, sir.
What'd you go hunting with a rifle?
Squirrels, too.
Okay. And open sight or telescope or both?
Both.
And were you able to kill the squirrels okay?
Yes, sir.
And rabbit hunting, didn't you go rabbit hunting too?
Yes, sir.
And what'd you kill the rabbits with?
Probably a shotgun.
Did you ever shoot them with a rifle?
No, sir, not that I can remember.
Just mainly a shotgun?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you shot a pistol at fairly close range to targets and also at longer ranges?
Yes, sir.
And same thing with rifles, closer ranges and longer ranges?
Yes, sir.
What's the longest range you can remember approximately that you shot rifles for target practice? 50 yards, 100 yards?
I remember we sighted them in at 25 yards, so that's...
Okay. Tell me what you mean when you say you sighted them in. What do you do when you're sighting in a rifle?
When you put a scope on a gun, you usually sight it in for a short distance, and then it's usually on it longer.
That is to make sure it's accurate, that the bullet hits where the crosshair is?
Yes, sir.
How do you sight it in? Tell me how you do that.
You shoot a target and then adjust the crosshairs.
Okay. Tell me how you adjust it. What do you do?
There's...
Turn knobs or something?
Yes, sir. There's knobs on the scope.
Okay. And did you do that?
No, sir, not at that time, no, sir.
You've done that before, though, haven't you? Help sight them in?
I've watched them do it.
Okay. Did you have any brothers and sisters when you were in the 6th grade? Brothers or sisters?
Yes, sir. I have a brother and a sister.
What's your brother's name?
Wesley.
And how much older than you is Wesley?
He's quite a bit older.
Huh?
He's quite a bit older.
Well, how many years older is he?
He's in his 30s, so
Okay. What about your sister?
she's older too.
How old is she?
She's in her mid-30s.
So both your brother and your sister are in their 30s, and you're now
22.
22. All right. Since your release, have you had an automobile?
Yes, sir.
What kind of automobile?
My grandfather left me his truck.
And what was it? What year, make, and model?
It was a 97 Chevy truck.
1997 Chevy?
Yes, sir.
What kind of Chevy? S10 or what?
It was a full-size extended cab.
I can't hear you.
It was a full-size extended cab.
What color?
It was white.
Did it have stick shift or automatic?
It was an automatic.
And did you get rid of that vehicle sometime?
Yes, sir.
When? About?
Probably the end of 2007.
What'd you get?
2004 Chevy truck.
What color?
It's white.
Stick shift, automatic,
It's automatic.
extended cab, normal cab?
It's a regular cab. Regular cab.
Okay. Do you still have the motorcycle?
Yes, sir.
Do you still ride it?
Yes, sir.
And what year, make, and model is it?
It's a 2007 Suzuki.
What?
Suzuki.
Suzuki?
Yes, sir.
What model or type or
It's a 600.
600? What does that mean?
That's the engine size.
Is it an off-road motorcycle or a street bike?
A street bike.
Any other vehicles?
No, sir.
You have your insurance card in your pocket?
No, sir.
Don't you normally supposed to carry a card that shows you got insurance with you?
Yes, sir. It's in my vehicle.
It's in your vehicle, okay. Is the 2007 Suzuki motorcycle in your name now?
No, sir.
Whose name's it in?
My mother.
Did she ever write it?
She bought it for my dad and me, so she knows about it.
Okay. The 2004 Chevy truck, whose name is it titled in?
It may be in my name. I'm not sure.
Who bought it for you?
My mother.
And the 1997 Chevy, after your grandfather died, is left to you, did you change the title over to your name?
I don't remember.
Okay. Let's talk about jobs since you were released from incarceration. Have you held a job of any kind since you were released?
No, sir. I've volunteered to help out some people, but I've not held a job.
Volunteered where?
One of my mother and father's friends, I helped him out. He was a carpenter, and
Who is it?
sorry,
What's his name?
Clarence Henson.
Young man, you're going to have to speak up.
His name's Clarence Henson.
Spell the last name.
Henson.
Where's Clarence Henson live?
In Ravenden.
Any other job? You were helping him do carpentry work?
Yes, sir.
Was he paying you?
No, sir.
How long did you work for him?
It was off and on, mainly when he needed help with a bigger job.
Well, how many times did you help him? How many days total? 1 day a month? 5 days a week?
2 to 3 days a month, it depends.
Did you get anything out of it?
He'd buy me lunch every now and again, and he was teaching me how to do some of the stuff.
Okay. Any other jobs?
A friend of mine from school, he had some batting cages, and I would run those for him every now and again when he couldn't be there.
Who's that?
Danny Brewstrom.
Spell the last name.
I'm not sure the
Say it again loud and slow.
Brewstrom.
Brewstrom?
Yes, sir.
Spell it the best you can.
Brustrum.
Where's Danny Brewstrom live?
In Batesville.
Do you know where? Do you know his phone number?
His phone number, but I don't know his.
What's his phone number?
It's written on one of the sheets of paper.
All right, we'll pull it out.
612
612
9893.
612-9893.
Yes, sir.
What are you looking at now?
It's a list of the jobs and attorneys that I was told to bring.
Okay, let me see it, please. You've got jobs, all volunteer. Clarence Henson, Danny Brewstrom, and then your attorneys, Joe Perry and Danny Glover, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll mark this as Exhibit 20. And that was brought in response to the notice of deposition Ducis Tecum, was it not?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go through that notice here in a few minutes, but I will do it right now. Exhibit 21, or 21 will be the notice. Did you bring everything you have that relates to that notice?
Yes, sir.
Let's look at item A, about social networking websites, Facebook, MySpace, or any others. Did you bring anything in relation to that?
Yes, sir.
Show me what you brought.
This is a copy of all the stuff off of Facebook.
All right. And what you've handed me, I'll mark as Exhibit 22. It's Facebook. Did you have other things on Facebook that you've erased since you were served with the subpoena?
No, sir.
Have you ever had anything on your Facebook page that you've erased?
Not that I can remember. I hardly ever use that one.
All right. What other internet places do you or have you used?
I had a MySpace, and it was deleted.
Why?
It was before I was served with this. I tried to pull it back up to bring it to you, but I couldn't get it.
Who deleted it?
I did.
Why?
I didn't have any use for it anymore.
Why'd you delete it in the first place?
I was done using it. I didn't.
Did you delete it because you got found out who you are and where you were when you got served with a subpoena?
No,
That's why you deleted it?
No, sir.
Okay. I may have a little bit of information related to that. Let's talk about it in a minute. Have you ever had an email address?
Yes, sir.
What email addresses have you used?
BHSU.
Say it again.
BHSU 1986 at Hotmail.
Any others?
And Yahoo. It's the same, but just Yahoo.
What does BHSU mean?
Black Hill State University.
You ever had any others?
Not that I can think of. Well, school accounts, but I never used those either.
Okay. All right. We've introduced pictures before in this deposition, if I can find them. Here we go. Exhibit 13 is your mother's deposition. Do you recognize those pictures?
Yes, sir.
Who you giving the finger to there?
My sister.
Why?
She had said something, and
And you're going to tell us that's not your beer there in the picture?
yes, sir, that's not my beer.
Where was your beer?
I didn't have one that night. I was a designated driver.
Okay. You do drink, though, don't you?
I have, yes.
And you still drink, don't you?
No, sir.
When'd you quit? Last week?
No, sir.
When'd you quit?
I don't know. It's been a while.
When's the last time you had any alcohol to drink?
It's been months.
Okay. And what bar is this and where is it?
That's Buffalo Wild Wings
Where?
in Cape Girardeau.
What other bars have you hung out in Arkansas?
I've been to the Moose at Batesville.
You
Once or
remember there?
twice. No, sir.
Did you have to sign in
Yes, sir.
as a guest?
Yes, sir.
Who'd you go as a guest of?
You just sign your name under the guest thing.
They just let you in? Whose dog was that in Exhibit 13?
My sister's.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a mix of some sort.
Okay. Well, where were those photographs posted? What website were they posted on?
I think they were on my sister's MySpace.
See what's marked as Exhibit 23, and it's got text under it. It says, that a picture of you. It says Drew's little girlfriend is cute, but I think she's cheating on him with some handsome fellow named Martin, or I don't know who the pictures are. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
That's some of my sister's friends.
You have any tattoos?
Yes, sir.
What do you have a tattoo of?
A cross.
And what's on it?
Romans 3:23.
What does Romans 3:23 mean?
For all have sinned.
What?
For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
Exhibit 24, is that a copy of your tattoo you posted on a web page?
Yes, sir.
What web page did you put that on?
I don't know.
What site was used for that? MySpace?
It may have been.
Why did you post your tattoo on there?
I don't know.
When did you get your tattoo?
It's been a while.
When did you get your tattoo?
About a year ago, maybe.
About a year ago?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you get it?
Here in Jonesboro.
We're down on Main Street?
Yes, sir.
We'll look at some other things in a few minutes. We'll get to them. Did you ever engage in dialogue sessions with young ladies on your Facebook or MySpace or any other computer page?
Yes, sir. I talked to different people on there.
Is that where you referred to M. Bowden as a bum city, so to speak?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to pull up any of those?
No, sir.
Why not?
I couldn't get them.
What computer were you using?
It may have been my mother's.
Well, it may have been mine, but whose was it?
My mother's, I think.
Okay. Did Mom know you was using that kind of language on her computer?
I don't think so.
You have received no threats from anyone since a year after this shooting incident, have you?
No, sir.
You have never had a threat directly from any, even a family member of any of the victims of the shooting, have you?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you post in one of your Gmails that you got stopped in Black Rock but were lucky that the girlfriend was driving?
No, sir. That was not my girlfriend.
Okay. Well, did you remark that you got stopped in Black Rock and is lucky that somebody else was driving?
Yes, sir.
All right. Why were you lucky that somebody else was driving?
Because I had been drinking. Because I had been drinking.
Okay. When did you first start posting on MySpace and so on? How long after you'd gotten out of jail? Fairly soon?
5 or 6 months, I think. I'm not sure.
When you were in Memphis, were you in a juvenile facility or a halfway house?
It was a juvenile facility.
Was it a lockup? Is that what it was?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How'd you spend your day there?
We go to school, and then we go back to our rooms.
Watch a lot of TV?
No, sir, not really.
Huh?
Not really.
Okay. The application for your gun license, you remember filling out an application for a gun license?
Yes, sir.
The application was not true, was it?
It wasn't complete.
Well, when it says list all addresses you had, you didn't do that, did you?
No, sir.
So when you put down as a listing of addresses representing them as the complete list, that was not true, was it? Y'all got that? Here it is. It wasn't true, was it?
No, sir.
Do you know Mindy, whoever that is, the Notary Public?
No, sir.
Okay. You listed on Exhibit 11 on June 28th, or June 21st of 2008, that, excuse me, your address was 822 Siloam Springs Road, Evening Shade, Arkansas. That wasn't really true, was it?
That's one of the places I stayed, yes,
That's
sir.
one of the places, but that wasn't your residence, was it?
That was what was on my driver's license. And I was instructed to put what was on my driver's license.
And who told you to do that?
The firearms instructor.
Who was the firearms instructor?
I don't remember his name.
And did you tell him you had other addresses?
No, sir. He said that was what they normally do is they put what's on the driver's
Well,
license.
did you ask him, did you have to ask instructions on how to fill out your current physical address? Could you not figure that out on your own?
No, sir. I didn't ask.
Okay. Now, when it says over here on the other page,
Counsel, can I ask you the next question? The witness's microphone is switched. And I'll fix that here on my next page. Thank you.
on this page of your application, concealed handgun license application, it says list all residences during the last 2 years. And that was in 2008, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you listed the Silver Springs Road and Evening Shade, right?
Yes, sir.
And you listed Raven Den, right?
Yes, sir.
When it says to list them all, you represented that the complete list was Raven Den and Evening Shade, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And that was false, wasn't it?
I didn't think you had to put down.
Answer my question. This was false, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
When it says list all residences, you know what the word all means, don't you?
Yes, sir.
What does the word all mean?
Everything.
You didn't list everything, did you?
No, sir.
All right. When it says you were in Raven Den from April 2002 to May 2006, that wasn't true, was it?
That's always been our mailing address.
Answer my question. When you said you resided at Raven Den from April 2002 to May 2006, that was not true, was it?
No, sir.
Because you didn't reside in Raven Den. You resided in North Dakota or Memphis or both during that time, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't list either of those residences, did you?
No, sir.
And when it says residence in Evening Shade from May of 06 to June of 08, you didn't reside there the whole time during that period of time, did you?
No, sir.
When did you first reside in Evening Shade?
Upon my release,
When was that?
May 25th of 2007.
Okay, so you listed that you were living there a year before you ever set foot on the place. Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
So that was a false statement that you knew to be false when you made it, didn't you?
That was just a mistake, sir.
It was false and you knew it was false. True?
At the time, I was trying to hurry up and get done with it.
Answer my question. When you wrote down that you were living in Evening Shade in May of 2006, you knew that was not true, didn't you?
I wasn't paying attention to that. I wasn't.
Are you trying to tell us under your oath that you thought for 1 minute that you actually lived in Evening Shade, Arkansas in May of 2006?
No,
Are you trying
sir.
to claim that that's true?
No, sir. That's not what I'm trying to claim.
It's not true, is it?
No, sir.
Never has been true, has it?
No, sir.
And you knew it wasn't true when you wrote it down, didn't you?
No, sir. I wasn't paying attention to it. I was just.
And when you report that you lived there from June of 2006, or May of 2006 to June of 2008, you knew you lived other places, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
So when you said you lived there for that period of time, you knew that wasn't true, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't tell them that you lived in Cape Girardeau, did you?
I didn't know you had to put out of state.
Answer my question. You didn't tell them you lived in Cape Girardeau, did you?
No, sir.
And it says list all residences, and you knew you lived in Cape Girardeau when you filled this out, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't put Cape Girardeau down, did you?
No, sir.
And you knew you lived in Batesville, did you?
I was staying between Batesville and Evening Shade and
You
Raven.
knew you stayed in Batesville in a residence, didn't you? You had an apartment rented that you stayed in. You had furniture in.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't list that, did you?
No, sir.
All right, we're at break time.
Thank you, counsel. The time is 2:35 p.m. We are off the record. The time is 2:42 p.m. We are back on the record, counsel.
All right. I want to jump back to your motorcycle wreck. You got a couple of tickets for that incident, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Remember what they were?
No motorcycle endorsement and failure to maintain, I think, was the other one. I'm
Failure
not.
to maintain control.
Yes, sir.
Did you pay both those?
Yes, sir.
All right. And when did you leave Cape Girardeau? It was like August or September of '07?
It was around August. I was enrolled at the community college, so it was around then.
You applied for your license June 21st of '08, is that correct?
You talking about driver's license?
No, the concealed handgun permit.
Yes, sir.
And so a year before that, within the year before that, you were living in Cape Girardeau for a while, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Well, here where it says, have you been a resident of the state of Arkansas continuously for a period of at least 12 months immediately prior to submitting this application, you checked yes, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
That's false, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you were notified and you signed a statement under oath that the applicant states under oath the representation made through page 125 are true and correct, and you signed that as being true under oath, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
That all these pages were true, and they weren't, were they?
At the time, I thought they were.
You didn't think you lived in Arkansas for a continuous period of 12 months because you knew you moved from Missouri in August or September of 2007. You know what a year is, don't you?
Yes, sir.
You knew that was false when you said you lived in Arkansas for 12 straight months, didn't you?
I wasn't thinking at the time, sir.
Answer my question. You knew you had lived in Arkansas for 12 straight months, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And that statement you made was false, and you knew it was false, didn't you? True?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you knew this application was seeking complete information, didn't you? Because they were going to do background checks, right?
Yes, sir.
And to do a background check, you know they got to have complete information, right?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't want them to know about you being up in Missouri and changing your name from Golden to Grant, did you?
That wasn't my intention.
You didn't want them to know your name had been Golden, did you?
Had no intention of defrauding that.
Well, we'll let somebody else decide that. You did not give this state police any information that your name had been Andrew Golden, one of the Westside murderers, and you didn't give them any information that might help them find that out, did you?
No, sir.
And because if you'd given them the Cape Girardeau name and they'd have done a name check for Cape Girardeau, they could have probably found out that you changed your name from Andrew Golden to Drew Grant. They could have found that out pretty easy, couldn't they?
They might have been able to, yes.
It's in the court records up there, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Filed in records.
Yes, sir.
So you just left that out, so they couldn't find that out, didn't you? That's true, isn't it? Remember now you're under oath.
Yes, sir.
That's true, isn't it? You didn't want them to find it out, did you?
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your status as a juvenile offender under federal law, had you been told anything about any restrictions on your ability to have, possess, or use a firearm?
No, sir.
When you were released from federal custody, did anybody mention to you about firearms?
No, sir.
And same thing with state custody.
No, sir.
Okay, for you to apply for the firearms, you had to certify that you'd gone through a course, hadn't you?
Yes, sir.
And in the course, you had to demonstrate proficiency with a firearm, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You had to go to a range and shoot.
Yes, sir.
So you had a gun in your possession, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And were shooting it.
Yes, sir.
Whose gun was it?
It was my father's.
Where'd you get it?
From him.
When?
For that class.
And how long had you had the gun to work on this class?
Just for the day.
One day. Would you go, tell me when and where you went to get the gun?
I went to his house.
Same day of the test?
Earlier that morning, probably. I don't really remember.
And did you go up and shoot that day and then take it back to him that night?
I may have, yes, sir.
No, I'm not asking what you may have done, I asked what you did do.
I don't remember.
Did you have to demonstrate proficiency with understanding the firearm and the fundamentals of the firearm
Yes, sir.
and ammunition
Yes, sir.
and practice? You did that for an hour and a half?
Yes, sir.
Had you shot a gun at any other time from the time you were released until the time you applied for the permit?
Yes, sir.
Where else had you shot guns?
We had squirrel hunted some, and
We being who?
me and my father.
And how many times did you go on squirrel hunting?
I don't remember, a few times. Once, for sure.
Where'd you go squirrel hunting?
At Hardy, a place up there.
One day or 2 or 3 days?
Just once. One day.
And did you do any target practice before you went hunting?
Yes, sir, in the backyard.
Yeah, because you hadn't shot a gun in a while, you need to come make sure you were back polished up.
Yes, sir.
And how many rounds did you shoot practicing up?
I don't remember.
What kind of gun were you using?
22.
Okay. And did you go hunting for anything else besides squirrels since you've been released?
Yes, sir, deer hunting. It was all archery, though.
Okay. When did you go archery deer hunting?
Last fall some, and then once or twice this fall.
You ever gone deer hunting with a rifle?
Not since I've been
Shotgun? Not since you've been released?
No, sir.
How about before you were released?
No, sir, not that I remember. I don't really remember going deer hunting before.
Okay. Bow and arrows that were confiscated from you at the scene, were those yours or your dad's?
My dad's.
Where did y'all get those from?
Who?
Where did you and Mitchell Johnson get the bow and arrows that were confiscated from you? At your dad's house?
It was in the gun room.
What?
In the gun room, yes, sir.
Okay. Have you been to any other schools besides what's shown on the GED transcripts and the other transcripts that we have?
Just the GED and then the 2 colleges.
Okay.
In the Black Hill State, I didn't.
Okay.
That was all correspondence.
All right. Are you enrolled in college now?
I finished up the semester, and I haven't signed up for other classes or anything.
Okay. I take it you've not had a paying job of any kind since you got out of custody?
No, sir.
Who pays your bills?
My mother and father.
School, everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Get allowance?
Just to get through the week, gas money and for food.
You on student loans, or are they paying for your school?
They're paying for school.
Since you've been out and you've been back to Jonesboro 10 times or so, have you driven by Mitchell Wright's house?
No, sir.
Have you driven by the homes of any of the victims?
No, sir.
Driven by Westside and just checked the place out?
Not that I remember.
Been by your grandfather's home?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever go out in the woods where this shooting took place?
No, sir, not that I remember.
Did you ever go by the cemetery, since you didn't want to stir anything up, but did you ever go to the cemeteries and pay your respects in private to the victims of your escapade?
No, sir.
Thank you.